Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, June 21st, around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2023. The lost Titanic sub didn't even have a basic safety beacon. That is the very beginning of the problems with that submarine. We'll get to the full analysis in a moment. The big story: happy solstice, Stonehenge style. Keep calm, it's boom time. Severe storms stretching 1,600 miles from Wyoming to Texas threaten millions. Take a look at the lightning across the U.S. There's the severe weather front. We've got lightning all over the south and the southeast, and it is only going to continue. Tornado watch issued for Cheyenne, cities in Wyoming, Nebraska, and Colorado as well. Multiple tornadoes reported in eastern Colorado amid the severe weather outbreak today. And here is the power outage map. Still 230,000 without power in the southeast, most of those in Texas and Oklahoma. Those numbers will increase as the severe weather continues. Let's take a look at some of the lakes. Here's Lake Powell. The water in Lake Powell has risen 50 feet since May. Hey. And Lake Mead is no exception, rising straight up, passing last year's low weather during the melt season. Look at this. This is usually when the lakes drop. Lake Mead continues to rise, expected to get above 1,060 feet before July. So apparently there's going to be a rapid uptick here in the water as Lake Mead has risen about, let's say, 10 feet since May. Hey, that's good news. Here's the full forecast. Areas of severe thunderstorms, heavy rain, and extreme heat. The intense and dangerous heat wave in Texas, the nexus of the Schmexis, and parts of the southern U.S. will continue the rest of the week, and these sweltering temperatures will persist into next week. We're not supposed to get rain till the end of the month when the monsoons kick in here. Severe thunderstorms and heavy rain are possible in parts of the high plains to the upper Midwest in the next few days. Heavy rain and flooding are possible the next couple of days in the southeast and mid-Atlantic, so heads up. We'll do a quick walkthrough here of that severe weather threat. Take a look at these areas in green here in the central U.S. If I just move this through 3 hours, boom! There's the severe weather threat this evening, eastern Nebraska, as well as eastern Oklahoma. That's going to be kicking up quite rapidly. That's going to pop down into the Louisiana, Texarkana area in the morning and then reemerge in the same region on Friday. So heads up. Let's take a quick look at Brett. Tropical storm Brett headed towards the Caribbean Sea. Maximum sustained winds at 65 miles per hour, just on the cusp of hurricane strength. It may approach that before it hits the Leeward Islands. We also have disturbance number 1 with an 80% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. Let's take a look at the key messages for Tropical Storm Brett. There is the cone of certainty, moving it directly beneath the Dominican Republic in just the next few days, actually by Saturday at 2 a.m. Brett is forecast to approach the Lesser Antilles through Thursday and even move across those islands late Thursday and Thursday night as a strong tropical storm, bringing a risk of flooding from heavy rainfall, strong winds, and dangerous waves. Let's take a look at the spaghetti models of both storms to bring us up to speed. Well, we tried. They are currently updating the spaghetti models. We had them pulled up at the beginning of the show, but now they're updating them. So stay tuned tomorrow for the updated spaghetti models from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Let's take a quick trip over to the smoke map here, smokemap.canada, and you can see the fires in Alberta are almost completely out, but we have an uptick in Quebec. There's an uptick in fires today in Quebec. There are now over 36 fires burning, and good news is the wind shear is directly east, so it's blowing the smoke over Newfoundland and Labrador, and most of the smoke in the U.S. from the Canadian fires is missing. So that is good news as we have an uptick in fires in Quebec, and we are looking for some precipitation to quench those fires. Seismic update. No quakes of note. Most recent rumbler just happened just now, 5.1, Okinawa, Japan at 35 kilometers. Probably no damage, no injuries. No other quakes of note worldwide. All is quiet on the Western Front. Worldwide volcano news update. We have an uptick in Cotopaxi. It's been puffing to 21,000 feet recently in the last 48 hours. We also have Popo, Semaru, Mayon, and Sangay, all puffing to normal levels. Sakotajima to 5,000 feet, Popo to 19,000, Mayon to 9,000, Sabancaya to 24,000, Nevado de Ruiz to 19,000. We do have some footage of Mayon here as active lava flows continue to advance. Space weather news update. We had a little shift here in the BZ just a few hours ago, and that is going to perturb the geospace as the speed is quite high up here, around approaching 500 kilometers per second, and that's going to push the KP index up, which it did from 1 up to 3.3. Not a significant increase, very little geomagnetic activity in the form of aurora, but a small bump indeed, as we're looking all quiet in the future. Last 30 hours, pretty quiet, all below the sea level, all below M level. Sea flares were constant. And we are looking at a very quiet 3-day geomagnetic forecast. So there is nothing impending in the future as the sun continues to stay quiet at solar max. Albeit there are dozens of sunspots, they're just not doing much of anything. Well, what is doing something is a robotic mission that flew less than 150 miles above the scorched planet Mercury. And what spacecraft is it? I have no idea. Bepi Colombo Orbiter, that's the one. Spacecraft snaps incredible images of Mercury. This is the picture, and we're not going to get a better one for a little bit of time until it reaches its orbit in a few days, maybe weeks. But wonderful photographs of Mercury coming out from Bepi Colombo. And you can watch all the jiffies and all the other stupid fake videos, or actually look at the picture from Bepi Colombo here. All the links will be below. Now, the expansion of the universe could be a mirage, a new theoretical study suggests, and I would agree. New research looking at the cosmological constant problem suggests the expansion of the universe could be an illusion because we are tiny and we are egotistical, bad scientists. So there is that. The expansion of the universe could be a mirage, a potentially controversial new study suggests. This rethinking of the cosmos also suggests solutions for the puzzle of dark energy and dark matter, which scientists believe account for 95% of the universe's total energy and matter, but remain shrouded in mystery. Now, if the universe has been around forever, infinity, there will be no black holes, there will be no dark matter, and there will be no mathematical problems. So there is that. Now, scientists set out benchmarks for extreme space weather, but they were only considering the space environment for satellites. What about us? What about other things other than satellites? These narrow-minded scientists, well, what they concluded was not good. That in the event of a large geomagnetic storm, yeah, the shit's going to hit the fan, folks. Now, what's not going to hit the fan is the alarmist narrative. NASA is showing here what 30 years of rising sea level feels like in a chilling new animation. It's an animation. But it's only chilling because they don't show any of the continents on the margin here of the ocean, where we can see this catastrophic sea level rise occurring. Now, according to this graphic, if this was actually happening, Manhattan would be underwater, and there would be ocean water on Main Street down in the financial district. But it's not there. So my question is, if sea level has risen over a foot, why hasn't it risen over a foot? What do I mean by that? Well, I published this picture, I believe, 6 years ago now. And it's in fact been fact-checked by the fact-checkers. And they say this is lacking context. Yeah, the context is that this is what catastrophic sea level rise actually looks like. There is none. Here's an 1898 picture of sea level, and here is a 2017 picture of the same Statue of Liberty in the same island with no rise in sea level. In fact, it looks precipitously lower here, but we could be in a catastrophic drought. I do digress. Plymouth Rock at 1620 was at sea level, and today Plymouth Rock is still at sea level. That's quite a bit of catastrophic sea level rise. I don't see it. Do you? Now, here's a fantastic scientific mystery. An extraordinary 3,000-year-old sword has been unearthed. Now, what's unique about this is that the sword is pristine. It's still sharp on the edge. It is 100% intact and almost shows no weathering, and it is 3,000 years old. The Bronze Age sword was found in a grave with 3 people, a man, a woman, and a boy. It's unclear whether the 3 were related to each other, and if so, how, but the grave found in the town of Nördlingen is thought to have been used for quick succession burials, meaning that the 3 people were buried within a short period of time and may have been unrelated. Made of bronze with an octagonal hilt, the sword is 70 centimeters long, weighs 1.2 kilograms. Strangely, it was found in excellent condition for such an old sword, with no signs of rust or corrosion. The sword at the burial site need to be examined further. Take a look at this. This is spectacular. What a Konservatlagerstadt. A perfect preservation site, 3,000 years old. Look at these points, these arrow points. Oh my goodness, bronze arrow points. Beautiful. Let's blow this up. Look at that preservation. Absolutely spectacular. The hilt, there's like no corrosion, just slight graining and a nice patina on the arrow points. As pointy as they were 3,000 years ago. Imagine that. Now on to the big story, the lost Titanic sub and its inhabitants. Well, there were a bunch of idiots that paid $250,000 to go down on this experimental piece of rickety-rack. Untethered by regulations, the vehicle wasn't even equipped with some of the most essential tools that would be necessary going into a space like this. They were going down to the Titanic, which is almost 13,000 feet below the surface. That's equivalent to traveling to the moon. Now, I know if I was going there, I would want some redundancies and some safeties, but its inexplicable design probably ended in tragedy. The sub didn't even have basic safety beacons, so they don't even know where it is. Not only that, the missing Titanic vessel is piloted with a video game controller. Yeah, like for Nintendo. But they didn't even buy the real game controller. They got one from Logitech, a cheaper version that is a known crappy game controller that fails easily. Why you would risk your life with a Logitech game controller and some CEO that claims everything is safe is beyond me. And why these people didn't check the specs is even more ludicrous. In fact, OceanGate, the company behind the missing Titanic tourist sub, once was subject of a lawsuit over safety complaints. Now, what happened in this lawsuit is
very happy to have this next gentleman.
Mind-blowing. And we have the lawsuit here you can look at. All the links will be below. What happened was one of the top guys at the company did not sign off on this submarine. You see, this front portal here is only rated to 1,300 meters. And these guys are diving to 4,000 meters. That means that a catastrophic failure of the portal is imminent. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And apparently it just happened. Now, the guy that brought this safety concern up and didn't sign off on this sub got fired. And then the company sued him because he started talking, and then he sued back. But the end result is they never changed the portal from this cheap-ass window, even though they're charging $250,000 a trip, and catastrophe was imminent. And I think it just ended the whole OceanGate how to go down to the Titanic on the cheap, well, that's just not possible. That's just stupid. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those people, but they should have done their due diligence and their homework. Now, someone doing their due diligence and homework is James O'Keefe, and he's being attacked at every angle by the mainstream media and the shadow government. Yeah, the powers that be, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, the deep state. But he keeps pushing back. And in our latest tweet at Oppenheimer Ranch Project at Diamond the Dave, where we need to get this to 10,000 followers, and we keep getting less and less subscribers. They keep unsubscribing. I guess they don't want to hear the truth. But breaking, BlackRock recruiter declares and decides people's fate, says that war is good for business. And not only that, he says that senators are as easy to pay off with just $10,000. Come check it out. It is a total boom to knowledge. What happened? And that's a boom. Please share this video as we are shadow banned, as they do not want you to know the truth. Follow us on Twitter for all the latest updates before the podcast comes out in the evening. And be safe. We love you, each and every one of you, from the bottom of our hearts. Smash that thumbs up. It helps with the Al Gore rhythm. And be safe. Yeah.